loses his girlfriend.
To who?
No, like she dies. Not like Kit Fisto walks up. What up, girl? Because he's like a water Jedi. I don't know why that's how I correlate that. Yo, back again. Last episode, a little rough. Calling it episode 0.
Come on.
It was really episode 1. Austin's audio was the Phantom Menace.
I see what you did there.
We're back again. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Check. Can you hear me?
He can hear you.
Hey. Hey, can you hear me? Good.
So speaking of Attack of the Clones, why do you keep wearing what I wear?
I own 3 or 4 shirts, so that's on you.
So we don't plan what we're wearing. We just show up.
I have limited options.
And last week we wore the same beige shirt, and this week we're wearing the same
total
denim,
accident
white shirt, same watch.
Well, you guys have seen 2 of my 3, so I need you to step it up next time and wear something different.
So what's going on in Nerdville?
Tell you what, people are gearing up for this Obi Wan Kenobi series coming out. They're getting obed up and Kenobed down.
For people that don't know what that is, what is that?
The Obi Wan Kenobi series is coming out on Disney Plus, May
27th.
And we are excited.
We're getting 2 episodes, May 27th.
Are we? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so they're dropping 2, because I think they were supposed to drop it a little earlier than May 27th.
Yes.
And they pushed it back, but as a treat to the fans, they're going to give us 2 episodes.
I feel treated. Thank you, Disney.
And then, so that'll be Friday, and then it'll stream on Wednesdays after that. So yeah, should be sweet. We watched the trailer.
We did. Trailer's well done. What's tough about the trailer is you look it up on YouTube, and there's 1,739 fan-made trailers that have 100 million views. So you never know which one to click. But if you find the legit Disney one, it looks exciting. What do you think about it?
I think it was awesome. I had goosebumps. Right in the beginning, when you hear his voice come in, good old Daddy Wan Kenobi.
Daddy Wan.
That's him.
Father Wan Kenobi. He is a really good actor. I enjoy him.
Yup. Anyway, like I was saying. Yeah, when he starts talking, the fighting's over. We lost. Like, you just feel like, dang. It's sick because this episode, or this TV show, is right before episode 4.
Right.
And in this trailer, you get this sense of no hope. You feel so like they lost. Obi-Wan's on the run. He's hiding.
Right.
And you get this like dark vibe, this saddened.
How dark?
Dark.
On a scale of 1 to dark.
Pretty dark.
7?
Like a 9. But it's cool because it's leading into episode 4, which is A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to make you feel hopeless so that when the new hope comes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the angle they'll take. They got to really make it hopeless. They're bridging that gap, though. And what's important to understand is the timeline. So this is basically right in the middle of 3 and 4.
It's like 10 years after 3.
10 years after 3. So Luke is like a 10-year-old kid. There's a lot of things that were done in episode 3 and even in Rogue One. Rogue One was like this band-aid for the franchise to bridge the gap to A New Hope, because there's so many unknowns and plot holes, and how did they get the Death Star plans, all of that. Rogue One does a beautiful job of bridging the gap, but there's still this giant hole in the plot where we don't know so much about what was going on with Vader and Palpatine, how many Jedi are left, and what happened with all of them. Because all we know about is Yoda goes to Dagobah, Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine, and that's it. But there's other Jedi out there in the galaxy. Are they going to explore that? What do you think?
My theory is the only other Jedi we're going to see, I would think, would be to set up how sick the Inquisitors are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to showcase the Inquisitors by bringing them in, showing that they're just obliterating
And who
Jedi.
are the Inquisitors?
So if you haven't seen Rebels,
Some people haven't. And they're missing out.
we're going to need to do an episode about it.
We're going to need to do a 17-part series on Rebels. Maybe 50.
I'm down for like 12.
12 is good.
So Inquisitors are like agents of Vader. Vader can't be everywhere at once.
Mm-hmm.
So he almost delegates these
Like Force-sensitive beings that maybe potentially at one time were Jedi.
Yeah.
We get into that a little bit in the Fallen Order video game. Is it Fallen Order?
Yeah.
With Cal Celeste.
I haven't even played it.
I haven't either, but I've seen... I did the cheap thing. I didn't buy the game and play it because that would have taken too much time. So I just watched the game on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever done that. You can do it. It's totally cheating, but you can watch every cutscene of the video game and know exactly what happens. There are rumors that the actor who played Cal Celeste...
Kestis.
Kestis?
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he... there's an actor who played him for the video game, and he's a real actor, and he potentially might show up in this.
Yeah, he could.
I also just read a quote from Ian McDermott, the actor who played Palpatine. He might show up somewhere in this show. Let me find that quote.
I think we're going to get some sick Vader stuff. I think we're going to get some sick Obi-Wan stuff. That's what I hope to see. I want to see Obi-Wan in despair going piss mode, if you've seen episode 1.
Yeah, what's interesting is, like, we just looked it up. Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. So this is 17 years since Ewan McGregor has been Obi-Wan. A lot has happened with Obi-Wan's character since he was Obi-Wan, which is kind of weird to think about because, I mean, he is the face of Obi-Wan, but so much happens in the animated show that his character takes... I mean, like I talked about in the last episode, you just get more hours of exposure to his character, and a lot has happened with him, and I'm interested to see how much of that they play off of from the animated show into Ewan McGregor as the character. Because there's a storyline. I don't know if anybody hasn't seen the animated series. There is a storyline that Obi-Wan has a girlfriend, and at one point considered not being a Jedi and completely leaving the Jedi Order to be with this girl.
Had you said the word, I would have left the Jedi Order.
So if you haven't seen that, that's like a little tidbit of information where, are we going to see any flashbacks with Duchess Satine? Is she going to be involved at all in this show? Are they going to ignore that? Because that is part of his history. And what's great about that part of the show is it adds a layer to when Anakin and Padme are secretly together. In the movies, Obi-Wan doesn't really have a connection to that, and he never really, like, you never see him, like, sympathize with Anakin, because, like, I understand what you're going through. I understand you want to be with Padme. He never has that moment in the movies, but in the show, he has that moment with him over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think in the movies you see in episode 2, when Padme falls off the ship while they're chasing Dooku, and Anakin says, "Put the ship down."
Right.
Obi-Wan says, "Come to your senses." I think that's kind of where we see Obi-Wan almost drilling into Anakin, like, no, that's not okay.
Right. Yeah, but in the movie, he's very much just like, it's not the Jedi way, but it's like,
but he knows, he understands it because
all right,
he's got a girl.
Here's the quote from Ian McDermott. There's a certain show coming soon, set right around the time I may have been considered to be very active. Whether or not you'll see my physical body, I can't comment on, but you will certainly feel my presence.
Wow.
So the Emperor is going to be involved in the show. I think maybe you'll just see him pulling the strings behind the curtain. They're gonna have Vader, which Hayden Christensen is coming back to be Vader. It's been confirmed 100,000 times, and that is really exciting because I talked about last episode how the end of Rogue One is my favorite because you see this uber powerful Vader just go ham. How much of that are we going to see in this show? Let's talk about the trailer though, because the trailer, it like you watch Mando, you watch the Boba Fett show. It has like a TV show type of feel. And when I was watching the trailer, the shots, there's a scene where the ship flies by. It looks like an Inquisitor ship. It's like, this feels more like a movie and less like a TV show. And I think that because they're bringing all these actors from the movies back on, it's going to have more of a movie feel than it is a TV show. But then they showed the Grand Inquisitor in the trailer, and I immediately thought, maybe it is just a TV show because this looks not like a movie.
But.
If you've ever seen Rebels, Grand Inquisitor is like the lead guy. He is like, Vader is number one in command, and Grand Inquisitor is like his second in command in terms of hunting down these Jedi. And in the TV show, he is the same alien race as the guys on Utapau.
Yeah.
Which is the planet in the movies where Obi-Wan kills General Grievous. And there's all those when he gets to the planet, there's like those councilmen, like politicians that are basically saying like, Grievous is here. You need to go face him or whatever.
Yoink him.
Go yoink him. And so that alien race is who the Grand Inquisitor is. And they have a very elongated head. If you remember, they got like a lot of lines in their skin. And the Grand Inquisitor that they showed in the trailer did not meet that level of... It just didn't look the same quality.
No.
It looked like a guy with a prosthetic. They're very elongated, and he was very roundy. He was chonked boy.
He was a chonker.
Instead of long boy. But then there was a new picture that just came out, and he looked a little bit more long boy. So maybe they're going to fix it. Maybe they listen to the fans in this one, because they also kind of butchered it a little bit in the Boba Fett show with Cad Bane. A lot of people were ticked at his appearance, because when you see him in the animated show, it just looked weird.
Yeah. It's crazy too that, you see it in the show, and then the week that the episode drops, you've got, in a matter of hours, fans who come up with their own version,
right?
And they're already better.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you not get it right?
Yeah.
Like, a fan can make it in a couple hours and make it look amazing.
Disney has had that happen to them quite a bit lately. It's like, you have all the money, you have all the resources, you can get the best talent. So why did this guy just come up with an edit that would have been much better? But it's tough. It's tough to translate the animated world to real life, because even Ahsoka's character with Rosario, what's her name? Rosario Dawson? Is that?
Yeah. I don't know the pronunciation.
I don't either. It sounds weird coming out of my mouth, but I think that's her name.
Right.
It's good, but it's not the same, because with the animated show, they can do anything with those characters. They don't have to worry about real life physics, and because they were talking about her headdress, her head tails are not as long as they are in the show. It's like, well, when she's fighting, it's hard for those to be flinging around, and it's not really practical. It's like, okay, that makes sense, but at the same time, like, I just want it to look exactly like the animated show did. What are your projections, though, for OVs?
So, I have some theories. I think, first and foremost, the last thing we see in Obi-Wan, like the last storyline that goes into Obi-Wan in episode 3 at the very end, Yoda says an old friend has emerged from the Force Nether. Or I don't remember the exact quote, but and Obi-Wan looks at him and goes, Qui-Gon. So there is no way Disney ruins that. Like, you can't not go into that.
Yeah, Qui-Gon has to show up at some point.
I think this is how it starts. We either get the very beginning of the show is either going to be setting up the Inquisitors, set like their persona, their Jedi hunter personality, where you opens up with them hunting them down.
Right.
Or it opens up with Obi-Wan in the sands of Tatooine, looking at a fire. In the distance is young Luke working or, you know, playing around outside.
Moisturizing his farm.
You get this vibe, okay, Obi-Wan's the protector, you know, this...
Watchful guardian.
Yeah, watchful guardian. But he's sitting in the sands, gazing into the fire, just remembering everything he's been through. And you may not know everything he's been through. You might think, bro, like, what? He lost Anakin. Okay. No. He lost his master, Qui-Gon. He lost his brother, Anakin. And a little bit of a spoiler, loses his girlfriend.
To who?
No, like, she dies. Not like Kit Fisto walks up. What up, girl? Because he's like a water Jedi. I don't know why that's how I correlate that. No, so he has lost everything at the, like, in this moment of time. He has lost his girl, his mentor, his father figure, his master,
right,
his brother, a little kid that he taught everything he knows, helped grow up, you know.
He went from being a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council to some hermit on a double sunned up on a Thursday afternoon planet.
Yeah, I couldn't follow what you just said, but my brain needed a second there. Dude, I don't even know what I was talking about because I was
Qui-Gon.
thinking about your double cheek though. Yeah, so he lost his master, he lost his girl, he lost his brother, his Padawan,
right,
and he gave everything he had to this Jedi Order, which is now gone.
Yeah,
like Palpatine just yoinked it out from underneath him. I want to dive into his despair. I want to see him go piss mode on some Inquisitors. I want to see, you know, the lightsaber, you know. But no, I think while he's looking into this fire, I think Qui-Gon's going to walk up to him. And I think they're going to have a moment.
Do you think it'll be just a voice, or do you think they're going to get Liam Neeson?
I think Liam Neeson's in it.
Yeah, he's got it.
I think he's playing it up. They asked Liam Neeson, so are you going to be in the Obi-Wan show? And he's mentioned something about how TV shows aren't like his thing, and he's more of like a movie actor.
Come on, Lee.
But everybody knows he's full of it. Like, Andrew Garfield has completely changed the way I look at actors when they say,
if somebody denies something, it means it's happening.
Right. If they deny it, it's happening. So, yeah, Liam Neeson, he's going to show up. That's my big theory that I would stake my life on. Qui-Gon will be in this show.
I think that's probably a safe bet. They should. If they don't do it, I will be pretty upset. One thing, though, they set the tone with in episode 4 is right away, Darth Vader's on the scene. They set the tone in episode 7. Right away, Kylo Ren's on the scene. It's like they usually start off with a bang and the bad guy shows up. So I wouldn't be surprised if 10 seconds in, they are showing an Inquisitor hunt down somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody we know. And when I say we know, I don't mean like it's going to be, I don't know, somebody who would have survived that we would, I mean, it's not going to be somebody on the Jedi Council, but.
No, I mean, there's Quinlan Vos. But in the comics, Vader kills him. So I don't know what they're going to, like, you know, consider canon or not.
Right.
But
I think there should be an epic sequence, though, where either a Inquisitor or a group of Inquisitors hunts somebody down and kills them. To just set the tone of, like, this is happening.
Right. And
I don't think Vader will show up right away. I think they're going to make his entrance more grand. I'm interested to see, though, how they play, because Kathleen Kennedy has said that Obi-Wan is going to face off against Vader again. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Everybody always jokes that, like, Luke is hiding in the most obvious place ever with Uncle Owen and Aunt Lars. Like, or wait, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Uncle Lars, Aunt Lars. And it's like, how did Vader not know he was there? It's like the most obvious choice. It's like, well, maybe he did. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Vader goes to Tatooine at some point? Because I don't think Obi-Wan's going to leave Tatooine.
I think he might.
What do you think would pull him away from Tatooine?
So I'm trying to look up the quote from episode 4. I can't find it. I can't remember exactly what Vader says. But in episode 4, when they start fighting, old Ben and Vader, he says, you know, we meet again. Everybody that's watching it is thinking, okay, the last time we saw them was on Mustafar. But the way Vader talks about it, he says, when I left you, you were the master.
I was but the learner.
I was but the learner, but now. But if you think about it, Vader did not leave Obi-Wan. Like, right. Obi-Wan cut him in half and then left him to burn.
True.
And then I can't remember the quote off the top of my head. I'll have to put it in like the show notes.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? And this is Filoni again. In episode 3, when Anakin faces off against Dooku, he says, "My powers have doubled since the last time I saw you." And Dooku replies, twice the pride, twice the fall, double the fall. And what you don't know is, in the movies, episode 2, Dooku destroys Anakin, cuts off his arm, like it's not even a contest. So you're thinking, oh, okay, so the last time we saw them face off in episode 2, Anakin's saying, "My powers have doubled since then." But what you don't realize is, if you watch Clone Wars, Dooku and Anakin have like 9 battles where they are constantly coming in contact with each other and fighting each other. So really, you see this progression of all these other fights they've had, and Anakin is getting more and more and more and more powerful. So then him saying, "My powers have doubled since the last time I saw you," becomes so much more relevant because you've seen him fight Dooku 6 or 7 times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And I feel like they're going to try to pull off a similar thing with this one, because all we know is, well, Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar, where he left him by the lava to die. But how many times have they faced off in other stories that haven't been explored in the movies yet?
Right.
So that's what I'm excited to see.
So something Vader says to him is, "I'm surprised you came back." He says something along those lines.
That's right.
And it's like, well, hang on. Does Obi-Wan show up?
Does he show up on the Death Star at some point?
Yeah. So I think maybe the Inquisitors start to come to Tatooine, and to get him away, Obi-Wan just dips out for a second or something.
They talk about that in the trailer. They say the Jedi Code is, what's the exact phrasing? They just watched it.
It's like an itch.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't help it.
Right.
Yeah.
So who are they gonna capture to try to draw Obi-Wan out?
Bo-Katan.
Boski?
His girl's sister.
Oh, do you guys know about that?
You will.
Yeah.
Do you have any other theories? Because I do.
Keep going. Oh, let me mention this, though. One thing I thought that was really cool in the trailer, and this is me as a father talking. They show Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
And one of the aspects of the movies and now this show that I did not think about much until I saw the trailer was, what does Uncle Owen go through and all? What does Obi-Wan tell him? What does Obi-Wan tell him what happens to Anakin? What does he know? What does he not know? So then when these Inquisitors start showing up on his planet, like you can see in the trailer, the Inquisitors are in the same area as Uncle Owen. Are they looking for Uncle Owen? Do they know? Are they going after him? So how much of a burden is it on him to raise Luke? I never thought about it that much, but like, what does he go through in this story? How much is he going to be a part of it? Yeah, because then in episode 4, he's just like this old curmudgeon that's like not going to let Luke do what he wants. But I think this show is going to do a good job of kind of filling in the gap of his character to see what is the trials that he goes through to keep Luke safe throughout this whole thing. And yeah, I hope that they dive into that more.
Yeah, I think it's cool. They got the actors from episode 3 to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's been 16, 17 years, which is crazy.
So my other theory going into this is Ewan McGregor versus Alec Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
The age difference.
Mm-hmm.
Are they just going to play that off as like, okay, he's older now type of thing? Right. Or we were introduced to this concept in episode 3, we see it, where Palpatine is shocking Mace Windu, and Mace Windu is deflecting it, and you can see as he becomes more and more withered and scarred, and then
it ages him.
Yeah, it almost ages him. And then we also see in the sequels when Palpatine somehow returns, and he's draining the life force out of Rey and Kylo. I wonder if we see something where Obi-Wan, goes head to head with, I don't want to say Palpatine because I feel like that'd be too much, but there might come an instance where Obi-Wan needs to save the day, and in order to do that, he needs to do some sort of force thing we haven't seen yet, and it's gonna drain him.
They're not afraid to introduce new force powers.
Yeah.
So I'm up for it.
I'm all for, like, I want a whole movie on the force. Like, show me what the force can do.
Right.
Don't just give me little, like, tidbits of, like, oh yeah, by the way,
Right.
like, we can heal with the force.
Well, that's what's really cool about Clone Wars. There's that whole story arc where, like, Yoda goes to that force sensitive planet and he, like, battles his inner demons and stuff. It's like all these weird
wills.
The wills are involved. All these weird storylines that you didn't know you needed until you watch it. It's like, this is layer 7 Star Wars. This is deep stuff, and I love it. And that's Clone Wars has got a lot of that. Oh, just with, like, when they announced that there was going to be an Obi Wan Kenobi show, like, this was back when they were unveiling, like, we're going to do this movie, we're going to do that movie, and people wanted an Obi Wan Kenobi movie. And then they said, we're going to do a TV show. And initially it was like, oh, come on, not a TV show. But the more you think about it, it's just like Clone Wars. I would rather have 9 hours of Obi-Wan footage in a TV show than 2.5 hours in a movie. They can explore so much more stuff in a TV show with multiple episodes. Going back to last episode, where it's just the amount of hours of exposure you get to a character, a TV show is the best way to really dive deep into a storyline. And this is a storyline that's really worth talking about.
Right. And the director has come out and said of the show that Obi-Wan Kenobi was created with a beginning, a middle, and an end, but keeping a possibility of more seasons. But this season is set up to have a beginning, middle, end. So there is one season. It's a limited series, but they are open to maybe something in the future too. So
I'm interested to see how they finish it. What does the ending look like?
Right. And Hayden Christensen came out and said, the extent of this journey, I think, remains to be seen. So Hayden Christensen, you could say, almost hints at more Vader in the future. He's saying there's a little bit more that they could tell, a more story. I just want to see, like, Vader on 11D and Obi-Wan on 11D.
Right.
Because you go into episode 4 and their lightsaber fight is bad. Like, I watched it recently with Emily and I was like, oh, this is like Vader versus Obi-Wan. There's so much, like, meaning in this. Like, there's so many years of them, back and forth, and you just kind of watch them like
just touch sabers.
Oh, I'm gonna get you.
Oh, you come back here.
And then he's just like, okay, my time has come.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. But there's that awesome YouTube video that company made. They did the battle.
Star Wars Reimagined. If you search that on YouTube,
we can put it in the show notes. There's I think there's a petition out there for people saying we should remove the original footage of of them fighting and replace it with this fan-made fight.
No, when I watched it with Emily, I actually paused the movie and I said, okay, we're gonna watch this YouTube video. And I showed her, and straight up I was like, I wonder, like, how many people actually know about this. Dude, the video is 40 million views.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. It's just, I mean, there's so many fans of Star Wars. They're talented. What are you gonna do?
Who do you think's gonna show up? Like, people, because I think it was the director who came out and said, we're gonna see people that were important to Obi-Wan in this. Like, people from Obi-Wan's life will be highlighted in this show. What do you think that means?
There's got to be a flashback to Duchess.
Yeah.
There has to be. I wonder how that plays in. Who else a part of his life?
I think definitely Qui-Gon. We went over that. Do you think we'll see Ahsoka?
Maybe. I wonder how they would do that with Rosario Dawson. Because she would be younger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe she shows up, but why would she go to Tatooine?
Maybe that's what draws Obi-Wan away.
Either that or they capture Aunt Beru or something.
Mm.
Do you think Boba Fett shows up?
He needs some kind of a redemption.
A young Boba?
I don't know if I don't ever want to see him again or if I want a better story of him.
It's tough because this is a bridging story, so it makes sense for them to pull all the old characters back. But like, what I'm interested to see who's new. Are they going to have a new bounty hunter involved? Like, is it just going to be the Inquisitors? Or is there going to be some bounty hunters looking for him? Because if they're looking for Obi-Wan, I mean, the whole galaxy has got bounty hunters and assassins.
Right.
So, I mean, what kind of assassins could they send at him?
Fennec, Shan. That's their baby, Disney's baby.
Disney likes Fennec.
Cad Bane, Bosk.
Him and Obi-Wan know each other.
Yeah.
From that story arc. Okay, side note, Clone Wars, there is a story arc where Obi-Wan Kenobi goes undercover as a bounty hunter, and he fakes his own death to do it. It's like this super elaborate storyline, and he's alongside Cad Bane throughout the whole thing. So him and Cad Bane do have history. I can't think of anybody else, though, that they would pull in. I mean, from episode 3, we'll see Bail Organa. There was a tease with a young Leia.
Yeah.
Young Leia will be involved. Maybe that's why
Millie Bobby Brown. Calling it.
No, she's too young. In the show, she's too young. And that actress, Millie Bobby Brown's too old.
But it's like not actually Leia, it's 11.
They merge.
She can use the Force. All right, we're getting off topic.
Or we're getting on topic.
Stranger Things. I think that kind of concludes Obi-Wan.
Overs can overs.
As far as other things in Nerdville, there's Moon Knight. Marvel's Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched 2.5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say it's weird. like I can't even recap right now what's going on. You start in a mystery,
mm-hmm.
and you kind of unravels like what's happening. So I'm not far enough to actually know what's happening.
Gotcha.
But from my understanding, from where I'm at, Oscar Isaac,
mm-hmm.
aka Poe Dameron,
Popo,
he has this like multi-personality disorder,
mm-hmm.
but he's also like an avatar of an Egyptian god. Like an Egyptian god like lives through him and gives him his power. And the one thing I really liked that I highlighted was he makes a joke about when they mention like how he's the Egyptian god, like he's the avatar of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Isaac jokes about, I've seen that movie, like with the blue people. And then they're like, no, not like that. And he's like, oh, you mean the anime? And it's actually like perfect. It's like, it fits so perfect. But yeah, he's got this weird like multi-personality where he's one person and then.
So what are his powers?
I couldn't even tell you. He gets this suit. He can activate this suit.
Mm-hmm. And
the suit makes him stronger, and it gives him like a layer of armor where he can't get hurt.
Is he kind of like an anti-hero right now?
So that's the thing. It's kind of shrouded in mystery where the bad guy doesn't necessarily seem like the bad guy. You don't know the intentions yet. You don't really know what's going on. His name is Stephen Grant, but he's also Mark. But for the most part, you see him as Stephen in the beginning. And he's got this artifact on him, and this artifact is apparently a compass that leads to someone's tomb.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy wants this artifact from him. And he's like, okay, take it. But his like inner avatar won't let the guy have it. So he like fights the guy and he doesn't know what's happening. He kind of blacks out. And next thing you know, there's blood all over his hands and dead bodies everywhere.
Dope.
And he's like, what the heck? Like something in me just protected this artifact and I was trying to get rid of it. But yeah, apparently this artifact, it's called the Scarab. It's a compass that leads to this tomb of some Egyptian god that I think he's the bad guy. I don't even know. His name's Harrow. And his big thing is he's created like this cult of people
mm-hmm.
that have like followed this Egyptian god that's in this tomb, and they want to revive him and bring him back, but they don't know where he is. So they need the artifact, which is what Moon Knight has. So that's kind of where I'm at in the story. Super weird. It's really interesting though. I don't know what's happening, but I want to.
How many episodes are out right now?
I want to say 5 or 6.
When do they come out?
They come out on Wednesdays.
Maybe I'll watch them this week, and then we can try to talk more about it next week.
Okay.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I think his story is so complicated that they didn't want to introduce him into the movies because he's a lesser known character, and he's got a very dynamic thing going on.
Yeah.
It's not just like he flies in a metal suit or he is super strong. He was given a serum. It's not Captain America. It's not easy to get. They almost need a show to dive into it. They need the hours for you to figure, learn about it. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. And
Oscar Isaac kills it.
He's been killing everything lately.
Yeah, he's got, because it's like multi-personality.
He flies now.
Somehow, Palpatine's returned. No, he really does a good job because his Stephen Grant is like, he's got an accent, whereas his Mark doesn't. So he's very good at flipping the switch and being two people. I've noticed he's got that on lock.
He should have been Bruce Wayne.
Maybe.
Is he built?
Or I should have. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Moon Knight's pretty cool. It's definitely worth the watch. I'm excited to see where it goes. But I think the only other thing in Nerdville that we haven't really talked about is Halo, which I have not seen any of.
I haven't either. I think this week I'm going to commit to watching Moon Knight and Halo. My neighbor introduced me. That was like the first person shooter that I ever played. There's kind of like Halo camps and Call of Duty camps, and I've always been a Halo guy. I was pretty good at it. Back in Halo 3, when like being level 50 meant you were like you were next level. I think I got to like level 39 was the highest, which was like I was competitive. But I like Halo way more as a game than Call of Duty, because if somebody's like shooting you from behind, you have a chance to kill them in Halo. Whereas in Call of Duty, if you get shot from behind, you're dead. It's just boom, 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 done. And that's kind of what I've always... That, and I'm like a run and gun type of player where I hate just like hiding and waiting for people. I'd rather just run around recklessly. And Halo's a better game mode for that. The stills, the trailer, I saw a video of the guy who plays Master Chief getting in the suit. It all looks ridiculous. It looks sweet. And I'm so glad they waited to have enough money to spend on it, because they spent all the money on it, it looks like. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the show. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would hope to see Master Chief with a hallway scene. That's really all I want.
Yeah, but if you're going to be a hero, you need a hallway scene.
And if you don't know what that means, you've got Vader at the end of Rogue One, who ignites his lightsaber, and just running through the rebels, using all sorts of force powers. You've got, if you haven't seen Clone Wars, Darth Maul gets a hallway scene
where he uses the hallway to kill people.
He literally uses
he strips the walls and kills people with the wall.
You've got Batman, the elevator scene. That's considered his hallway scene.
It was an elevator into a hallway, yeah.
Right.
And what's funny is when we were watching that movie, the elevator dings and all those dudes are staying in the hallway, and you and me look at each other like, here we go. Like, you already know what's going to happen. It's like a crown jewel. As a hero, you need a hallway scene. What's fun, I actually watched a YouTube video just like explaining the story of Halo, and it's hilarious because I've played every single game and I never even understood the storyline. It's kind of weird. And when they get into like the Forerunners and the Covenant and how everybody's fighting each other, it's like, all I want to play is Xbox Live with multiplayer. I never really even fully understood the story. So I guess I'm going to be a little bit lost in the show, because it was really just all about
Killtacular.
Sean-tacular.
That's our cousin. Any other news in Nerdville that you can think on the top of your head?
No, everything I'm seeing right now is just quotes for Obi Wan, really. Everybody's getting hyped up for Obi Wan.
I actually just saw, as we started our podcast, that Xbox is developing a role-playing game centered around the Mandalorian.
Really?
So I think that would be sweet. And then also, someone from EA that was like the coordinator of their games, she was just put in charge of a new Star Wars game to come out. It's going to be like an action adventure game. I don't know what it is yet. They haven't announced it. But she's getting her own Star Wars game that she's in charge of.
Mm-hmm.
If she's coming from EA, I would hope to God that it's Battlefront 3. That's all I want.
This is a great opportunity to plug your Twitch.
So, 99 Nerds, Twitch, Battlefront 2, no one, and listen to me when I say this, no one can beat me as Aiden. Like, bring it.
What's your Aiden?
Oh, she's a max.
She's a max level.
Which is level up. Okay, if you don't understand rankings in video games, let me just say, you rank up like every 2 or 3 games.
It takes a while.
So
my highest level in that game is like a level 29. 29.
29. My Aiden is a level 1000. Like 1000. Like there's a comma in there. I've played a lot of that game, and I will play a lot of that game until they give me a third one. And I've actually got a Funko Pop.
Once you hit 1000, who got that for you?
So my good cousin Teasy, who we'll have on the show soon,
For sure.
he gifted that to me for going 8 mode and saving him many times. But yeah, you can catch me playing that game pretty much every night.
Yeah, you got to schedule a couple streams. We'll put them on social media.
Yeah, I'm still getting the feel of how Twitch works and stuff, but
If they came out with a Battlefront 3, that would be amazing. I mean, any game, really, we just want a new game. It's been so long since they've had a new Star Wars game.
Lego Star Wars.
Well, that's true.
That game is also amazing.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that next time.
Yeah, I got to dive more into that game. We just downloaded it. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
I think that's it. Emergency press conference. Today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. They just dropped Kenobi trailer number 2, and it is hype. Trailer starts with Daddy One giving us a few memorable quotes. They're coming. Stay hidden. They want you to think he's talking to Luke. I don't think he is. I think he's either talking to Uncle Owen or he's talking to another Jedi. I think they're going to set it up where Obi-Wan needs to leave Tatooine and he needs to go and help someone else. In the trailer, we see, at the very end actually, we see him on a ship. So he leaves Tatooine at some point. He's not there the whole time. I think he's going to save someone. Not sure who it is. But anyway, in the beginning, we get 3 Inquisitors. They show up on Tatooine. You've got Uncle Owen in the town square while these Inquisitors are talking to everyone. Suspense is high. And then you've got some dialogue between Daddy One, Obers Kenobers, Obi-Wan, and Uncle Owen. Uncle Owen gives Obi-Wan some sass. And he says, "Leave us alone." And Obi-Wan says, "But when the time comes, he must be trained." He's talking about Luke. You know, Owen comes back. He claps back with, "Like you trained his father." So I love this because in the movie, Uncle Owen clearly doesn't like old Ben. He calls him like a crazy old man. So it's kind of cool. We get to see a little bit of that disconnect between Uncle Owen and Obi-Wan. So from that scene, it goes into 2 escape pods in space. I wonder what that's going to be. I wonder if that's going to be Obi-Wan when he leaves Tatooine. I wonder if he's going to find himself in trouble. We'll see. But the Inquisitor comes in and she says, "I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him." Now this is epic because, like earlier in the episode, we talked about our theory of, you know, some bounty hunters that may show up. But I have another theory. I think that Kersantin for Boba Fett is going to show up because in the comics, Obi-Wan fights Kersantin, and that's why Kersantin has like a scar on his eye. That's all Daddy Wan's doing. It's cool. We get a scene of Obi-Wan. It looks like he's in an Imperial prison. If you take it scene by scene, he almost looks like he's in like an inmate outfit, and he's fighting a Zabrak, which is the same species as Darth freaking Maul. So that's pretty sweet. and he's doing some hand-to-hand combat. We also see him wielding a gun. He's shooting at bounty hunters. This is wild. I wonder if he loses his lightsaber or something. We'll see. I don't know. I'm excited. And then we get the Inquisitor. She says, "You can't run, Obi-Wan. You can't escape him." I am so excited. Like, my mind is going in so many different places thinking about how Darth Vader is going to show up. And as she says that, "You can't escape," we see Vader's hand being put on his arm by a droid. We see his chest plate being put on. I am so freaking excited to see Hayden Christensen come back. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It ends with Obi-Wan on that ship, it looks like. And he's super distraught. So I'm excited to see what happens. Trailer 2 was a pretty sick gift for May the 4th. And I'm excited to hear 99 Nerds episode 3 because I won't be there. But Ostboss is taking over with Sean Tacular. And Sean is going to have some cool stuff to say. When I get in a room with Sean Terry, I could sit and listen for like 3 hours because this guy has a gift and he has a gift to articulate his opinion. And honestly, he does it in an entertaining way where I could sit there and listen to him all day. So I'm excited to hear episode 3. So you're going to want to tune into that.
All right, guys. This has been episode 1/2.
Attack of the Clones. The clones being his
2.
denim, my denim.
Double denim.
Revenge of the Sith is coming.
Shoot. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things that the YouTubers do. Smash that like button.
Smash that subscribe button.
Hit it. Smash it.
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch it.
Let's go. Let's get out of here.